For the quarter, it was a beat and a raise for Johnson & Johnson. And actually, we're just getting some news on all of those talc lawsuits that J&J has been facing. A court has overturned a ruling from Missouri of a $72 million award that had been against J&J in one of those rulings over these claims that J&J's talc product causes ovarian cancer. So that has been overturned. What we're learning, though, is it was overturned because of jurisdiction, guys, because of a recent Supreme Court case saying where cases can be filed, because apparently the alleged victim in this case lived in a different state. The court basically saying it shouldn't have been filed in this court. So J&J has had a number of different verdicts on this going in both directions. And of course, it is appealing the ones that it's lost. But that's some news on J&J. Back to the quarter where really they didn't talk about these talc lawsuits really at all on the conference call or in the release. It was a beat and raise, mostly driven by their pharma division, supported a lot by their recent acquisition that they closed of Actelion. There were also a lot of questions about Puerto Rico. J&J does a lot of manufacturing there. 6 open plants. They say while they are running on generators, they expect minimal disruption to supply, although they said they couldn't rule out potential shortages down the line. The main impact from Puerto Rico, they say, was on people delaying surgeries. So in their medical devices unit, maybe we'll see that made up in future quarters. We also asked J&J CFO Dominic Caruso this morning about drug prices. Of course, Trump saying yesterday that the industry is getting away with murder. Here's how he responded.
The overall cost of health care is a topic we should be talking about, but drug prices, as you probably know, represent only 14% of overall health care costs. And what's lost in the discussion is the immense benefit that they provide to patients, and they actually reduce or help reduce the other 86% of the cost that we're not talking about.
And a hearing just wrapped in the Senate today about drug pricing, guys. So this issue really coming back to the forefront, if it ever left.
Intraday high comes on the decision to reject this talc lawsuit. But you say it's jurisdiction, not necessarily on the merits of the case. So should we read into this movement in the stock price anything related to that?
The other losses were in St. Louis, but the stock had already been rising since the beat and raise this morning. So it's unclear really if people think a $72 million
Which is really amazing considering there have been 2 analyst upgrades in the past couple of weeks on J&J ahead of the earnings.
Saying that the numbers were too low.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, before you go, we've got to talk about this post from President Trump.
Yeah.
President Trump saying, quote, Congressman Marino has informed me he is withdrawing his name from consideration as drug czar. Tom is a fine man and a great congressman. Meg, I guess fair to say the 60 Minutes piece on opioids did him no favors.
Certainly not. I mean, the timing looks pretty obvious. You know, this report comes out from Washington Post and 60 Minutes saying essentially this legislation that was passed last year dismantled the DEA's ability to freeze conspicuous or suspicious shipments of opioids. And essentially the allegations there were that lobbying on Marino, who sponsored the bill, and other congressmen helped get that law passed and really take away a lot of the DEA's power. And so now we are seeing this happen, though Trump not, saying anything really bad about Marino, just saying that with his nomination.
Do I understand that law passed by unanimous consent in both houses and was signed by President Obama?
Yes, it's very interesting. So it did go to
so Marino's role in this was what? That he was one of the drivers of this law?
Yeah, to help drive it through. He was a main sponsor of the bill.
But no one opposed it.
Right. Well, it didn't go through that typical vote in the Senate where, you're going through a roll call. But yes, it did come. And are there any
unanimous consent?
Yeah. And the way it was portrayed at the time was that it would help people get painkillers who need them and it would increase communication. But it was, supported by the distributors, the drug distributors.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.